Tonight, stolen.
70 pounds worth of ammunition, other miscellaneous items.
CBC News uncovers disturbing information about theft from the military. New site. Police identify another search area in British Columbia's missing women case. Return to Pugwash, the unlikely birthplace of a global peace movement.
CBC News Sunday Report with Diana Swain.
Good evening. A CBC News investigation has discovered that some members of Canada's armed forces are bringing guns, ammunition, and even plastic explosives off their bases and into their homes, in some cases selling them. The Department of National Defense says the theft is rare, but it isn't sure how much weaponry has been taken. Mike Edgell has the story.
This is where military hardware belongs, on the battlefield. But this is where it sometimes ends up. In this case, a soldier's home in Saskatoon.
In this room, items were seized of 70 pounds worth of ammunition.
This video obtained by CBC News shows military investigators documenting ammunition.
120 rounds of 7.62 rounds and the other miscellaneous items and weapons. In this room is where the on the 23rd of January, when he apparently fired a round at one point through the floor, the kit in the upstairs living room, it came through the ceiling of this room.
Even a Claymore mine detonation kit, minus the explosives, taken home from a BC military exercise. A search under the Access to Information Act shows 10 similar incidents across the country since 1997. Stolen handguns in Alberta and Ontario. In 2001, the RCMP in Kamloops, BC, found several crates of ammunition, as well as smoke grenades. A man told police he got the military hardware from a deal made inside a coffee shop. In Calgary, 1997, more than 7 pounds of C4, enough to level a building, was found wrapped in newspaper in a soldier's barracks. Investigators later found the rest at CFB Wainwright. It was stolen from a training exercise in BC. National Defense documents note the soldier traveled back to Alberta on a commercial flight.
Soldiers are drawn towards
this military analyst and former member of the armed forces says C4 is known to be the easiest to steal.
C4 explosive, the plastic explosive, when they hand it out in chunks, a lot of guys will pocket a small amount of that if they want to collect it, and they can therefore not make a declaration, and over a period of time, can accumulate some of that. Live fire exercises, you can not throw your grenade and then keep it. There's ways around it. Seize up on it.
Scott Taylor says some cases of theft are linked to organized crime. Others are taken as souvenirs by soldiers with a fascination with weapons. In one D&D document, an investigator writes a suspect has been stealing and selling ammo for a while. National Defense acknowledges this kind of crime happens, but says only rarely. Stopping it altogether is nearly impossible, officials say.
Before and after every training exercise, before and after every operation, we conduct a complete inventory of weapons and ammunition to safeguard against that sort of thing. It's not a perfect system, but I think it's a very, very good policy, and the vast majority of our personnel are meeting our high standards.
National Defense won't say how many of the people involved in these cases were punished, and no one seems to know exactly how much military hardware has gone missing. These documents only deal with investigations of theft. Mike Edgell, CBC News, Winnipeg.
A new focus tonight in British Columbia's missing women case. Investigators are examining another site. It's about 30 kilometers from the initial site, a farm owned by Robert Picton. He's charged with 15 counts of first-degree murder. Rosa Marcatelli reports.
From the air, it's hard to tell exactly what police are looking for. On the ground, it's no more clear.
The search of this area has been launched as a result of evidence uncovered during the course of the missing women investigation. Because this is an ongoing police investigation, we are not able to go into any detail with regard to what that evidence is or how it pertains to our investigation.
Canada's biggest serial murder investigation has just been expanded to include an area near Mission, BC. About the size of 3.5 football fields, the land belongs to the Kwantlen Native Band. It was recently served with a search warrant.
We are unable to give any definitive time frame.